In the aftermath of the harrowing events of World War II, Europe found itself at a crossroad, grappling not only with the weight of the past, but also with the daunting task of rebuilding its once majestic cities. The devastation was profound, leaving behind a landscape marked by the scars of conflict. As the echoes of war faded away, a collective determination emerged, a resolve to reconstruct not just buildings, but the very essence of a continent torn apart by strife. This is the story of the remarkable journey undertaken to rebuild the destroyed cities of Europe, and in the process to breathe life back into the continent on the brink of renewal. Tune in. Hello and welcome back to our YouTube channel. Before getting into the video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. We promise you won't regret it. After World War II, Europe had a big job on its hands, fixing all the broken cities. The war had caused a lot of damage with bombings and destruction, leaving the land looking hurt and broken. People in Europe faced a huge challenge. They had to rebuild their homes, neighborhoods, and lives. This time after the war is called the Reconstruction era. It was a time when everyone worked together to put the pieces back together in cities that used to be proud and thriving. It was a tough job, but people had a strong spirit of not giving up. Leaders, communities, and regular folks joined forces with one goal: to bring back what was lost. Even though it was hard, the determination to rebuild was stronger, and Europe started the journey to fix not just buildings, but also the way people lived, all torn up by the war. First, they had to clean up the mess, and that was a really big job. Imagine streets filled with piles of broken stuff like a big messy mountain. It looked like chaos had turned into a real mess. So with shovels, big machines called bulldozers, and a lot of hard work, people didn't give up. They worked really hard to get rid of all the broken things, making the streets empty and ready for something new. It was like they were making a fresh start, erasing all the damage and getting ready to build things again. Even though it was tough, their determination to fix everything was so strong that they turned the messy streets into a clean slate where they could begin rebuilding. The rebuilding wasn't just about fixing buildings and streets, it went much deeper. Europe had to build back its economies, societies, and the everyday way of life that had been disrupted by the war. It was a big task that required more than just hammers and nails. It needed a whole community and even countries to work together. During this time, something really special happened, a strong sense of togetherness called solidarity. Countries joined forces and shared their resources, like helping a friend in need. It wasn't just Europe, even nations from afar pitched in. Imagine it like everyone putting their hands together to help rebuild what was broken. One shining example was the Marshall Plan, a sort of financial help package. It was like a big helping hand reaching out to nations in Europe that were hit the hardest by the war. This plan provided money to these countries, acting like a bright light in their darkest times. The Marshall Plan wasn't just about dollars and cents. It was a symbol of hope, showing that even after the toughest of times, people and nations could come together to support each other and build a better future. As towering construction cranes painted the skyline, architects and urban planners confronted a unique challenge, weaving the threads of the old and new into a harmonious tapestry. The task wasn't just about putting up buildings, it was about creating something special, a mix of history and progress. Rebuilding the cities wasn't merely about replacing what was lost. It was a deliberate effort to shape spaces that mirrored a vision for a brighter tomorrow. In the architectural dance of reconstruction, a transformation unfolded. The once familiar cityscapes began to evolve, embracing a blend of modern designs alongside the echoes of historical landmarks. It was like telling a story with buildings, a story that honored the past while embracing the promise of a new era. Architects became storytellers, using bricks and mortar to narrate tales of resilience and revival. As city skylines changed, the juxtaposition of old and new became a symbol of hope. Historical monuments, scarred but standing, stood side by side with sleek, contemporary structures. The architectural landscape became a living canvas, reflecting not just the resilience of the cities, but also the optimism for a future that embraced both the lessons of history and the possibilities of progress. In the intricate web of reconstruction, housing emerged as a pivotal piece of the puzzle. The war's brutal aftermath had rendered numerous families homeless, creating an urgent need to address their plight. A collective effort was mounted to provide shelter and solace for those grappling with the harsh realities of displacement. Recognizing the urgency, temporary housing solutions swiftly came into play, like the sprouting of prefab homes across the landscape. These prefabricated dwellings, often assembled with speed and efficiency, acted as a rapid response to the immediate housing crisis. They were like temporary shelters, offering quick relief to families who had lost their homes in the upheaval of war. These makeshift abodes, while modest in design, served as a crucial bridge to a more stable future. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, a parallel effort unfolded: the construction of more permanent structures. As construction crews toiled to rebuild the cities, families transitioned from temporary shelters to the promise of enduring homes. The reconstruction period following World War II was a monumental undertaking marked by a series of formidable challenges. Scarce resources, a complex political landscape, and the sheer enormity of the task at hand tested the resilience of nations, placing a formidable hurdle on the road to recovery. The scarcity of resources posed a daunting obstacle. The war had drained economies and depleted essential materials needed for reconstruction. Cities lay in ruins, and the demand for construction materials far exceeded the available supply. The challenge was not merely about physical reconstruction, but also about navigating an economic landscape strained by the aftermath of a global conflict. Political complexities further complicated the reconstruction efforts. The war had redrawn political boundaries, and nations were faced with the intricate task of rebuilding not only their physical infrastructure, but also re-establishing stable governance. The political climate was delicate, with differing ideologies and priorities often creating tensions that added another layer of complexity to the already challenging process of reconstruction. The enormity of the task loomed large. Entire cities needed rebuilding, and the scale of destruction was so vast that it seemed insurmountable. The question of where to begin, how to allocate limited resources, and how to prioritize reconstruction efforts became a formidable puzzle that required careful consideration. As the wheels of time turned, the once devastated cities of Europe began a remarkable ascent from the ruins. Streets once strewn with rubble and remnants of destruction now reverberated with the rhythmic sounds of construction and rebuilding. This transformative period, known as the Reconstruction era, emerged as a powerful symbol of hope, resilience, and the unyielding strength of the human spirit. With each passing year, Europe underwent a profound metamorphosis, evolving from a continent scarred by the ravages of war into a living testament of recovery and renewal. The reconstructed cities, standing tall and proud, became living monuments to the triumph of human perseverance over the darkest shadows of history. While the scars of war lingered, etched in the collective memory of those who endured the hardships, Europe successfully turned the page to a new chapter. The Reconstruction era became a bridge to peace, rebuilding shattered foundations and fostering a spirit of unity among nations that had once been divided by conflict. The landscape once marred by devastation now bore witness to the resilience of communities and the enduring legacy of a continent that refused to be defined by its past. Europe had not only rebuilt its physical structures, but had also sown the seeds of a future grounded in harmony, reconstruction, and a shared commitment to a brighter tomorrow. As we reflect on this pivotal chapter in history, let us not only remember the challenges overcome, but also celebrate the triumph of reconstruction. A triumph that turned the page from a war-torn past to a continent reborn. The scars of the past may endure, but so too does the enduring spirit that rebuilt a continent and laid the foundation for a more hopeful tomorrow. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We would love to hear from you. That's it for today's video. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, and we will see you in the next one.